Okay. Hi everyone. So it's Sam and Fifi. We've just jumped on to say a little bit. We've both had a little weekend away, didn't we, Fee? So we wanted to sort of have a little bit of a chat about that and the importance of having that time away, because I think it's done us like both the world of good, doesn't it? Like, tell us about your time away, Fee.
So we just had a weekend away in Somerset, out in the sticks. It was on like a horse farm, which is unusual, where they train horses. It was really lovely. They train horses for show jumping. So it was lovely, like all the stables and the horses around. It was like just a little annex on the side of this beautiful but really old farmhouse. Just an Airbnb, you know, lovely host. And it was just, yeah, it's like normality, because they were clearly, you know, not worried in the slightest about anything. So just normal interactions. And yeah, I made sure that I just switched off the phone. I've not been looking at any of that stuff, and it really changes how you feel. It's so easy to be in that habit of scrolling and checking what's the latest, you know, because we want to know what's happening, but there is a kind of addictive quality to it. And
yeah, there is.
I think sometimes you underestimate what an impact it has on your state of mind and your well-being, because it's constantly there. It's all, I mean, to be honest, it's always kind of in the background anyway, even when I was away. Obviously going into towns, went into Glastonbury, and which is one of my favourite places in the world, and you've got people masked up, you know, there's no getting away from it. Once you're kind of out in the wider community, you're going to see something, whether it's a signpost or, you know, someone in a mask, whatever. But there is still the possibility to detach a bit more. And it really, I felt more like myself, just not looking and seeing, and also just not having to be posting stuff on social media for a stand in the park. And, you know, I kind of put a little thing out like I'm away. And I did feel more like the old me. And I was thinking, God, you know, people really need to be doing it, even if they're not physically going somewhere, which is great if you can, just for a weekend, if you can find somewhere cheap or, you know, whatever, and you can be sort of snuggled up in this little bubble and just doing nice things and eating nice food. And but even if you can't do that, just unplug. Like, I do think it's all energy, but this energetic component where even if you are looking at all of this stuff to keep yourself informed and you're sharing information, you're still kind of feeding the beast if it's all that's on your mind.
And I think a lot of it is very unconscious as well. I think many of us, we don't even realise like how much social media has taken over our lives. I mean, certainly for me, I said, no, I don't spend that much time doing it. And then when I went away, you know, and I did, my husband, bless him, he's long suffering, you know, he's sort of like, you do too much, would you just step back? So this weekend I sort of said to him, I promise, you know, I won't look at my phone. And actually it was surprising, you know, how much of a difference that did make, just this real conscious decision to say, no, I'm not looking at my phone, not having anything to do with it. And it was kind of a, whoa, it made such a massive difference to kind of this stepping out of the internet, you know. And a lot of it is that, you know, as you say, that commitment to the freedom movement, staying connected, staying in touch. But I think that there definitely does need to be this balance where we almost kind of lose touch with the physical. And obviously that's where the stands are great, you know. On a Sunday you step into that physical environment where you're physically with other people in real life, having real conversations face to face, and it's brilliant. But it can't get to the point that that's all it is. I think we all need to consciously make more of an effort to step away and be in the real world. But as you say, it can be still, there were parts when we were away when it's you step into the real world, and there are parts of the real world, because obviously at the stand you're with lots of like-minded people, and it's very relaxed, and it feels very natural and connected and lovely. But actually in the real world, even without these, you know, rules and restrictions, a lot of them have gone. You have still got so many people masked up, and there are still so many reminders everywhere of this propaganda and this division and everything else. And there were a few times when I was kind of like, if this is what the real world is like, I kind of don't want to be in it. Like I just, it's, but you know, I think we need to be more consciously choosing how we live our lives, as opposed to kind of just unconsciously, you know.
Exactly, and just processing unconsciously when you are confronted with masked, you know, even though the mandates have been removed, it's just even more frustrating to see people, you know, you just think, oh God, you know, they're the true believers obviously, but that you have to at some point, you know, we're over 2 years into this, you've got to be able to deal with it in a way that isn't just a constant trigger. Hello. Oh, I've got the dog whining to Milu.
Never work with animals.
No. Kids and animals. Yeah, it's just like, that's what I've been thinking of recently. It's like, how do I, this is the way things are now, you know, for however long it's going to be. How do I make it manageable for myself? Because I can't continually be feeling enraged by the sight of someone in a mask. You know, it is this kind of inner work, in a sense, that we all need to do. Like, this is where we're at, I'm in this, how do I navigate, what do I do to not lose myself? And yeah, getting back to that sort of unplugging and getting back to reality. So if I step out the door now, all those things that I've been looking at online, they're nowhere to be seen. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, actually the sunshine, you choose, you know, whatever you focus on, you know, that's going to be where your energy's at. So I can just go out and have a nice walk now, like I will be with Mina in a bit, and focus on the birds singing, the sun's out, it's a really nice day. The chances are I'm not going to be seeing anyone with a mask, hopefully, in the woods, you'd hope, but who knows. But you know, that's my reality. That's my reality in that moment. And instead of being pulled out by being overly focused on, oh, what's going on out there, and scrolling through, oh, this is happening there, this is the latest. There's a place for it, but we've got to be aware that that's what is creating our experience of life, rather than, like you say, what actually being at in the physical reality. It's got to be that balance. It's constant though. It's work. I
think balance is the key word, isn't it? I think in most areas of our lives, we're all very aware that there has to be this balance. But I think for many of us, you know, social media, we don't quite become aware of that balance, or perhaps get aware that we get so drawn into it.
Yeah, and it's quite shocking when you realise how much you are reaching for your phone, because there've been, you know, people recording, you know, how and the idea we have of how much we're using it is way off. Most people are horrified when they realise, what, I reach for it how many times in a day? It has become unconscious. And even when you, like me, I've always been, it took me forever to get a smartphone. I didn't have any of that technology. I didn't want it, and then I had to have it for work, and then before you know it, because it's so convenient, you're kind of sucked in. And I there are things I won't do, like if I'm out for a meal, or, you know, the phone is away, you know, that's become sort of normal for people to be constantly looking at their phone when they're out for dinner with someone. I think, oh, that's, you know, come on. But, you know, even with those things, like conscious efforts that I make I'm still just throughout the day. I've even had that phantom ringing thing. Have you ever had that? Or the buzz? I felt something that it's so weird. Feel the vibration and that your phone's nowhere near you. And it's an actual phenomena, apparently. It's just
Really?
like, wow. Yeah, that's how dependent. And we do have to be wary, because this is part of the plan. They wanted it to go from your hand, something that you were constantly, like an extension of yourself, eventually to go into your body. So we have to be aware of that. We are kind of falling for what they want, and even when
that again, and as well as that, the disconnection from the physical, and that, because going back to the energy thing, you know, like, you know, I'm completely on board with the idea that it's all energy, and energy is actually one of the most powerful things, you know, most powerful forces in the world. And if you take away that energy exchange of people meeting in the physical, and you're relying solely on these, you know, interactions online, it really kind of drains that, you know, bigger picture. And it's multifaceted, you know, the reliance on the internet. And yeah, I think we all need to be a bit more conscious about what we're doing and why.
Yeah, exactly. Balance, just balance all the way. And it is quite difficult when you've got that kind of responsibility to other people. Obviously, through a stand in the park, it's all about meeting in the physical, but obviously there is that whole thing on social media to keep people informed and to keep it out there. I think it just has to be a healthy balance, doesn't it? But the focus should always still be on meeting in the physical. Get to the parks. That's where you build the real friendships. The online stuff can just be taken down, and you could be in contact with people. I'm not saying that you can't make real friendships or build relationships online purely, but you know, you're at the mercy of a plug being pulled, and that's it. So we do need to be connecting physically with people. You know, it's mad how that's become like an old-fashioned way of doing things. Like, oh, actually, you know, even just phoning someone now, it is a step removed. It's just you message, you know, and it's the constant messaging as well, and that's what gets me. I know that's where my addiction is. It's the checking constantly for messages on Telegram or Signal, or, you know, whatever. I do find myself reaching just to check, and you've got this constant exchange, whereas you would have saved it all up before and had a phone call. Met up with someone. It's kind of that binge culture, actually, thinking about it, you know, like with Netflix and stuff. And it's very deliberate. It's like we have to have it all now, and it has to be this constant thing. Nobody can wait anymore. It's I think that kind of feeds into it. So we kind of need to bring back some of the old ways of communicating, really. And well, that's the original one, isn't it? Actually meet in person.
I really missed, like, I can't say how much I really missed my stand at the weekend. Like I did, as I say, I promised Mark I would take the weekend off. We went down to Bournemouth, and I didn't even look for a stand. I was like, no, this is our weekend just for us. And we walked down, we went to get some breakfast, walking down Bournemouth seafront. Bournemouth stand have got this fantastic great big banner that was hanging from the tree, and I walked past and my heart just kind of went it was like, great people, like, and Mark saw me and he was like, you want to go and say hello, don't you? And I was like, well, let's have breakfast first, and if they're still there, then like, yeah. And we went and said hello, and they were lovely people, the ones that, you know, and it was really lovely to sort of, you know, meet them and hear about what they're doing down there. Like, it was fab. But there was definitely this kind of yearning for my weekly meeting with, you know, my tribe in Basingstoke. Like, they're beautiful people, and that connection at the weekend. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to Sunday. I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, same. I missed mine. yeah, it's just become, it's just what you do, isn't it? On a Sunday, you meet up. It is like a family meet up.
It is.
I love that you just sort of stumbled across it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was. You literally couldn't miss them. It was a fantastic banner, and I was like,
yeah. I did see the pictures. Yeah, it looked great. Really sunny as well. It's like, oh, sand.
oh, it was beautiful walking along
There.
the seafront. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nothing quite like being by the sea.
Oh, I know. Yeah, definitely. Oh, and you also went to a restaurant, didn't you? I saw
We
your post.
did. So we were traveling down on the Saturday, and obviously we are going to go out and have something to eat. And I said, right, well, what I want to do is I want to use, so obviously over here in the UK, we've got awakenpages.co.uk and we've got against-vaccine-passports.com. And I said, I'm going to have a little look at those websites and I'm going to see if there are any sort of, I mean, I'm reluctant to use the word awake, because for me, the most important thing is that they stand for inclusivity. And that, you know, they're against discrimination, you know, whether they're completely sort of aware of the bigger picture or whatever. If they're willing to stand up and say, you know, I'm happy to accept everybody, like everyone's welcome, then for me that's what's really important. So yeah, I checked both of those, and then we found this lovely little Hungarian restaurant called Paprika, Bournemouth, on the Against Vaccine Passports website. Obviously over here, you know, although it was talked about needing these passports to go in restaurants, it never actually came about. But for me, I think it's still important to support these businesses that, you know, in principle, were willing to say, no, we want to welcome everyone. So yeah, that's what we did. I've never had Hungarian food. I'm one of those people that kind of likes to stick to what I know. And I'm a bit like, new tastes, what if I don't like it? Especially when you're buying it and spending your money, what if I don't like it? But I thought, no, I want to go out, I want to support them. And actually we had the best night. It was such a lovely little restaurant. I had a lovely chat with the owner. She was a wonderful lady, Elvira. It was a beautiful little, just so cozy, relaxed, friendly atmosphere. The food was beautiful, and we both just said like how wonderful it was. We'd never have found it in a million years. You know, you could be driving past these places and not know, and not really look at them or think to go in them, but because of those sites, you know, I was able to find it, and actually we had such a wonderful experience. And I would really encourage, you know, everybody to make use of Awaken Pages and Against Vaccine Passports, to really go out of your way to support businesses that have integrity and morals and care. And you know, it's not just about that, it's about opening yourself up to new experiences and going places that you perhaps wouldn't have gone to before. And yeah, I was so glad I went, because it was such a beautiful evening.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's still important that people register their businesses and people use those sites, because, okay, the Vax passports might have been sidelined for now. There will absolutely be a produce your papers thing, whether it's to do with the jabs or something else. It's absolutely going to come back in at some point. And so it's nice that you're the chances are you are going to have a much more lovely experience as well, because you know already you've got something, there's a kinship there already. So going back to the energy, kind of the energy exchange, it's creating something.
I did do a little post on the Against Vaccine Passports, and it had so much interaction, and a lot of people saying, I've driven past that, you know, so many times, I'm going to go in there now. And you know, people saying, oh, perhaps we should go to Bournemouth just to check out. And I think this is the way to kind of, you know, really create an alternative society. And it's not about being awake, it's not about, you know, being separate from anywhere else, but it's about supporting a community where everyone's important, and supporting that. Integrity for me is like the biggest word. And just
Yeah, lovely. Oh, good. So what was it, Paprika? I used to live down there. I lived in Poole, so I haven't been back for quite a while, but yeah, I don't remember that one from Bournemouth. It was quite a few years ago, but it's great. It is an excuse to go and stay if you're planning a weekend or, you know, whatever. You've got a reason to, oh, we could go there and visit there. So yeah, it's nice. Like, you're at some point, you know, the directory is getting bigger and bigger, and because you can already do where's the pub crawl? Is it Chichester or somewhere? And
I'm not sure.
Like, yeah, but now it's thanks to the directory. I can't remember whether it was, I've got that in my mind for some reason, but it's somewhere that you can do like a whole pub crawl with pubs that are on the directory.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Challenge for anyone in the area. Yeah.
I'll actually be chatting to Steve from Awaken Pages on Friday. We're going to have
brilliant.
So that'll be Friday at 8. I think that's what we've got stated.
I look forward to seeing that, because he's doing some great things over there as well with the Awaken Jobs, and then there's some food thing as well coming up on the.
Yeah, that too. So we'll be talking about all of that. So that'll be good to catch up. But, so what do you think about this whole rollback on the mandates? What's your kind of feeling?
My feeling is that we have to be, I need to be careful with my words, because I think we can all agree that words are very important. I think anyone who thinks that this is over, anyone who thinks they're rolling over and it is disappearing, is deluded. Personally, you know, there's a lot going on. For me, this is them stepping back and regrouping, as opposed to anything else. But at the same time, I think it's vitally important that we, you know, celebrate what we've achieved, particularly with these NHS mandates. You know, it's not over till the fat lady sings and it's gone through Parliament. You know, there's still time for them to backtrack and everything else. But I think it shows the power of the fact that so many people have stood up. You know, the NHS 100K, they've had so many supporters. There's been a lot of local action as well as national action. And we have managed to get this repealed. And I do not think for a second they would have backtracked had it not been for this enormous pushback. And I think we definitely need to step back, give ourselves a pat on the back, and, you know, say well done, and be cautiously optimistic. But caution is the word. You know, we've got a little bit of a reprieve, but I think that, you know, that's all it is. It's a reprieve. You know, we know there's a lot more to come. They've got a lot more things in their arsenal, but it's encouraging. It's encouraging, definitely. But not a time to rest on our laurels at all. I think take that opportunity to really go forth and develop more of these community initiatives, and develop the stands and create the communities, prepare, so that, you know, whatever they come back at us with, we've got each other, we've got our own systems in place, and, you know, we're able to go, do what you like. Like, we've got this, we've got our communities, we've got our systems, we can survive without you. I think, you know, for me, that's the, you know, underline. I don't know whether you have anything.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's what I've been saying all along, is celebrate any kind of victory, absolutely, but do not be naive enough to think that they're going to back down. They will throw absolutely everything they've got at us, and we do have to be prepared. But while we do have this kind of reprieve, build your communities now, while we've still got access to, you know, services and systems and things. Don't wait until the plug's been pulled to then panic. Oh my God, do it now, because it is coming. It is coming, and it's not, I'm not saying it to frighten people, but this is very, very long planned. You know, they've got a specific outcome that they want. They're still ploughing ahead with it, and it's not just about a so-called virus. You know, that's one thing out of many. and we've got to be aware of that. So it's easy to get distracted by it and to be focused fully, because that's the current thing, you know, that's what we're experiencing all of these restrictions for, and so on and so forth. But they've got a whole host of other things, and they've got that one outcome they want, and they're not going to stop. But we are hindering them massively. I really
and
don't think I think they underestimated.
oh, I totally agree.
I do, and I think with, you know, with the NHS, I think they realise, oh, it's actually, they are sticking to their guns. They ain't going to have it. Doesn't matter what we
They
do.
thought that
Yeah,
more than what did would kind of roll
they
over to keep their job.
exactly.
The
It's, so
very
it
fact
does
that
have an
so
impact.
many
Yeah,
tens of thousands of people were willing to say, no, I am prepared to lose my job over this, you know, and the overwhelming support. I mean, when you look at the polls and stuff, there isn't support in the public for it. They try and make it look like it in the media,
yeah,
but I don't think, you know, your average Joe walking down the street really gives a crap whether they go and see a doctor, whether they're vaccinated or not, you know. And I think, yeah, we've demonstrated that. I think we underestimate ourselves as well as, you know, them underestimating us. I think we underestimate ourselves and underestimate our power, and the power that simply standing together can have. It doesn't have to be, you know, anything fancy, but when we have a mass, you know, just stand a peaceful, no, we are not doing this, we are not complying, we will not accept this. The power of that is so incredible. And I think if everybody who was kind of standing on the sidelines that was like, no, they know, there's many people that know that there is a lot of things going on that aren't right, but are just too afraid to really kind of look at where this is going or accept that they're being lied to. But if all of those people found their voice as well, and if all of those people were to kind of just stand up and go, yeah, I'm not sure about this, I'm not very happy with it, this particular rule seems ridiculous, I don't agree with it, and just stop complying, you know, our power would be just incredible. I think we really need to, especially with this NHS mandate, really look at what we've achieved and just really kind of drink that in of like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we definitely have to recognise that they're not actually all powerful, because if they were, what they want for us would already be in place. They have to work on us and work on it. They know exactly how powerful we are, and that's what they're desperately trying to suppress and keep down. God Almighty, you know, because if people step into their power and they know what they truly are within, that's it. In that moment, it's done, because
game
there's
over.
no fear. If you knew what you really were, that you're
Absolutely.
all that ever has been, ever will be, that this is just an experience within, you know, multiple realities, that we're actually everything. You just, and that's what they're desperate to, it's all about fear. The whole thing is founded on fear. The minute you step out of it and you don't care what the consequences, you've accepted, yeah, you know, this body's going to go one day, rather it wasn't in a horrible way, but you know, it's going to happen regardless. That's the ultimate fear. And that's what, when you dig down through all of this, that's the underpinning fear. If that's gone, then they've got nothing to hold over you. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, it's a spiritual war we're at, actually. It's, they want our spirit, you know, our mind. They can never have it though, you know, this is the thing. They can never have it, they never will have it, but we've still got to go through this whole thing, this charade. And yeah, the more we come together, the quicker it's over. And we've got,
And again, it goes, oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was just going to say, there's something so beautiful the other side of it that we can't actually imagine it. We couldn't even comprehend the reality that we're capable of living it and creating. We create our reality. It's just the other side of fear. Step out of that and it will blossom. And yeah, we've got amazing things to come, but we've just got to get through this first to get there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was just going to say again, it does all go back to this standing in the park, coming together physically, energetically, because as we've both just said, you know, we missed that, you know, stand that we have with our kind of family. And you look at across, you know, decades, they've been trying to cut down that energy exchange, that physical energy exchange, because powerful things happen when you're in the presence of other people. And so to cut that off and get everyone online, it removes that, you know. But if we are making more, you know, effort to be with people, to support each other, and to, you know, work within that energy exchange, that again grows our power. And I just think, oh, excuse me, my voice is going. Yeah, just again trying to underline this, you know, the stands, and everything that's coming out of them, the communities we're building, and the power we have as a community is just phenomenal. And yeah,
so step into it, people. It's nothing is too small, you know. In fact, it's the most important thing. Just, you know, you can't change the whole world, but you can certainly change your little section of it. So yeah, that's what it's all about, really. But I think we're running out of time.
we are, and we have been nattering for a little while.
We have, yeah. Little
we do this when we get started, don't we?
Yeah.
Nattering pages, but...
So yeah, well, that's it, I guess, for this week. And
yeah,
we will catch up again very soon. So lots of love to everyone. Have a great week.
Yeah, good chat.
And yeah,
love.
take care.